Timothée Chalamet made history at the Critics' Choice Awards 2026 in a way no one expected, transforming what should have been a standard award season acceptance speech into one of the most emotionally charged celebrity moments of the year. On a night meant to celebrate performances, films, and industry excellence, Timothée shifted the spotlight away from trophies and titles and placed it firmly on something far more personal: love, gratitude, and a relationship that has lived under intense scrutiny, speculation, and misunderstanding for years. The Critics' Choice Awards, held in early January 2026, have long been viewed as the unofficial kickoff to award season. For industry insiders, critics, and studios alike, these wins often shape the momentum leading into the Oscars. Every word spoken on that stage is carefully watched, every reaction is analyzed, and every speech has the potential to define how a season or even a career is remembered. Timothée Chalamet entered the night as one of the most closely watched nominees, thanks to his performance in Marty Supreme, a role that demanded emotional depth, physical discipline, and an almost obsessive level of commitment. From the moment nominations were announced weeks earlier, critics had already begun calling it one of the strongest, most vulnerable performances of his career. In Marty Supreme, Timothée pushed himself in ways audiences hadn't seen before. The role required intense preparation, long training hours, and emotional immersion that blurred the line between character and actor. Interviews leading up to award season hinted at how exhausting the process had been, but also how transformative. Many believed this role marked a turning point, not just another critically acclaimed performance, but a statement about the kind of artist he intends to be moving forward. So when his name was announced as the winner for Best Actor, the room erupted. Applause thundered through the venue, and the cameras immediately cut to Timothée rising from his seat. He looked stunned, humbled, and visibly emotional, pausing briefly as if to steady himself before walking toward the stage. But before he even reached the microphone, another camera angle shifted focus to Kylie Jenner seated in the audience. She stood to applaud, her smile warm and restrained, her expression a mix of pride, admiration, and something deeply personal that only someone close to the moment could feel. At that point, most viewers assumed this would be another awards show appearance where the two would remain politely supportive but publicly reserved, just as they had done countless times before. They had mastered the art of quiet presence, attending the same events without making them about their relationship, avoiding grand gestures, letting speculation exist without feeding it. That assumption lasted only seconds. Timothée reached the stage and took a breath, gripping the award with both hands. His posture was controlled, but his eyes revealed the weight of the moment. He began his speech in familiar territory, thanking the Critics' Choice Association and expressing genuine humility at being recognized alongside such respected peers. He spoke about the experience of filming Marty Supreme, describing how the role stripped him down emotionally and demanded a level of honesty that was both terrifying and freeing. He thanked the director for trusting him with such a demanding character, the producers for believing in the project, and the cast and crew who showed up every day with the same dedication and intensity. He acknowledged the long nights, the physical exhaustion, and the mental pressure that came with carrying a film so deeply rooted in emotional realism. His voice wavered slightly as he spoke about the fear that creeps in when expectations are high, and the doubt that surfaces when you care deeply about getting something right. As he continued, his tone shifted. The cadence slowed. His words became more deliberate. He spoke about the moments when he questioned himself, when the process felt overwhelming, when the weight of the role followed him home. Then, without warning, the speech took a turn that no one, not fans, not critics, not even seasoned award show watchers had predicted. Timothée paused. The room fell silent. He lifted his gaze from the podium and looked directly into the audience, no longer scanning faces, but clearly focused on one person. He thanked his partner of 3 years. He spoke about the foundation they built together, about stability, trust, and support. And then, in words that would echo across social media within minutes, he said he loved her and that he could not have achieved this moment, this role, this recognition without her. The reaction was instant and electric. A collective gasp rippled through the room, followed by a surge of applause that felt louder, warmer, and more emotional than before. Cameras rushed to capture Kylie Jenner's reaction, and when they found her, the emotion was unmistakable. She smiled, nodded, and mouthed, "I love you too," her eyes reflecting both pride and vulnerability as the reality of the moment settled in. This was not a vague acknowledgement. It was not a carefully neutral thank you designed to avoid headlines. This was a full, unfiltered declaration, live, unscripted, and impossible to misinterpret. In an industry where publicists carefully craft every sentence and personal lives are often guarded behind layers of ambiguity, this moment felt almost rebellious in its honesty. It was raw, it was sincere, and it was deeply human. Within minutes, clips of the speech flooded every major platform. Fans replayed the moment again and again, dissecting every pause, every breath, every shift in tone. Comment sections filled with emotional reactions, some celebrating the romance, others expressing shock, and many admitting they never expected Timothée Chalamet to be this open on such a public stage. Headlines updated in real time, and what had been shaping up to be a predictable awards night instantly became one of the most talked about pop culture moments of 2026. To understand why this moment resonated so deeply, you have to understand the history behind Timothée Chalamet and Kylie Jenner's relationship. When rumors first surfaced in early 2023, the response was immediate and polarized. Some fans were fascinated by the pairing, drawn to the contrast between their public personas. Others were skeptical, convinced the relationship was temporary, exaggerated, or misunderstood. Timothée was widely viewed as the indie-leaning, critically driven actor, while Kylie was one of the most recognizable media figures in the world, having grown up under constant public attention. From the beginning, they handled the spotlight cautiously. There were no official announcements, no dramatic confirmations, no carefully staged red carpet debuts. Instead, there were fleeting moments, shared laughter, quiet glances, brief appearances at the same events, enough to confirm something real, but never enough to satisfy public curiosity. The lack of commentary only fueled speculation. Every absence sparked breakup rumors. Every appearance reignited debate. The internet oscillated between certainty and doubt, projecting narratives onto a relationship neither of them chose to publicly define. Yet, despite the noise, the relationship endured. Over time, they were seen supporting each other through demanding schedules, major career milestones, and relentless scrutiny. They navigated fame without oversharing, choosing privacy over performance. Still, the silence continued, and with it came endless analysis, until that night on the Critics' Choice stage. That speech changed everything. It didn't just confirm the relationship, it reframed it. It transformed years of speculation into a single, undeniable truth. It wasn't delivered through social media or an interview, it was spoken at one of the most meaningful moments of Timothée's professional life. For Timothée, Marty Supreme wasn't just another film, it was a test of endurance, discipline, and emotional courage. The role demanded total immersion, and those close to the production have described the process as grueling. Long hours, relentless focus, and the constant pressure to deliver excellence weighed heavily throughout filming. In that context, his acknowledgement of Kylie wasn't simply romantic, it was revealing. It suggested that behind the scenes, away from flashing cameras and public debate, she was a grounding presence, someone who offered stability when the process became overwhelming, someone who supported him not as a celebrity, but as a person. Public reaction reflected that shift. Many fans expressed newfound respect for the relationship, noting how sincere and unpolished the moment felt. Others admitted they had underestimated the depth of the bond, and many pointed out how rare it is to see vulnerability expressed so openly by someone at Timothée's level of acclaim. The fashion world also joined the conversation. Kylie's appearance that night became part of the narrative, not because it overshadowed the speech, but because it complemented it. Her choice of a vintage gown was widely interpreted as a quiet nod to classic Hollywood elegance, a subtle visual statement that aligned perfectly with the seriousness and emotion of the moment unfolding on stage. In the days that followed, the speech continued to dominate conversations. Entertainment shows replayed the clip repeatedly. Commentators debated whether this marked a new chapter in Timothy's public persona. Some suggested it signaled a shift, a willingness to integrate personal truth into professional milestones, rather than keeping the two worlds strictly separate. Critics also highlighted how uncommon it is for male actors at this level to publicly credit their partners in such explicit emotional terms. The moment challenged long-standing ideas about masculinity, vulnerability, and emotional expression in Hollywood. For Kylie Jenner, the moment carried its own significance. Having spent most of her life under intense scrutiny, she has often been defined by assumptions rather than actions. That night, she wasn't referenced vaguely or indirectly. She was named, acknowledged, and appreciated as an essential part of someone else's success story, not as an accessory, but as a foundation. As awards season moves forward, other speeches will come and go, other viral moments will rise and fade, but this one has staying power because it wasn't manufactured, it wasn't rehearsed, it wasn't designed to trend, and yet it did because it felt real. The Critics' Choice Awards 2026 will be remembered less for the trophies handed out and more for a single moment of honesty that cut through the noise. Timothée Chalamet didn't just accept an award, he made a statement about love, partnership, and gratitude at a moment when both his career and his personal identity are evolving. In a culture that often rewards distance, irony, and detachment, this moment reminded audiences why authenticity still matters. It reminded fans that behind the performances, the fame, and the speculation, there are real people navigating real relationships under extraordinary pressure. And whether you're a fan of Timothée, Kylie, or simply fascinated by celebrity culture, one thing is undeniable. This was a moment that will be replayed, referenced, and remembered for years to come. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.